Everyone, I thought I would do a little video about waters. Water changing, while it seems really simple, giving the horses water, there's actually quite a bit to it. So typically there's only a couple volunteers that do the water. So I'll talk a little bit about that now. So a lot of our horses that are in rehab, or they're kind of on their own in a smaller paddock, you have one or two horses, we have really big water troughs. The main reason is that with the smaller ones, they dump them over and then there's no water for them at all. So when we have a bucket that's like this, 150 gallons, but we only have the two horses, if we fill it to the top, what happens is it takes them a few days to go through that. So that's not desirable for a couple health reasons, for sure. The water kind of goes bad with our excessive heat that we have here. We'll get like floaty algae and things in it. We'll start to get mosquitoes in it, tadpoles in it, with it just being kind of more of the stagnant water category at that point. In the afternoons it gets kind of warm, so they may have warm water instead of cooler, refreshing water. So we like to try to change it out once or twice a week, like totally empty it. But other than that, if we keep this about halfway full and then refill to halfway point as it gets low, with an occasional dump, that seems to do really well for them. If we have it all the way full, like we do this one, by tonight or tomorrow morning, this water, a lot of it will still be here, so we have to dump that. So that also creates kind of a flooding area. And you start to see where stuff is, the ground's kind of eroding away. Come rainy season, which it's not, this will be one big mucky mess and a huge magnet for flies. So another reason to not be dumping. I know it's not obvious right now because it's dry season, but things will change. So if we develop habits of filling these all the way to the top, those are going to stay with us. So we only have one tank that we fill to the top, and that's for the main pasture, and that gets filled or cleaned or dumped, whatever, twice a day. The other ones every couple of days, as needed, right? So wanting to be helpful and fill these up, or writing out a post and going, hey, I topped off the waters, that kind of sends the wrong message to other people, thinking that they should do the same. You might even be only filling it halfway, but using that phrase, topped it off. So other people assume that that should be part of their duties, and then they go and they fill it all the way. And then the next shift might come and say, gosh, that doesn't look so clean. So they dump all that water and then they refill it again to the top. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. We also don't have a commercial pump and a commercial well out here. So these 100 or 150 gallon tanks, we have quite a few of them. So that puts a really big strain on the system. So absolutely, if it's dirty, if it's low, we want to do that. But again, we usually have only a couple people that are aware of all the details, that go ahead and do that. Another thing that happens with these, we've had people like take them off and then lose them. We have people that over tighten them, and that's really easy to do with this valve. And then once they're over tightened, you kind of need a tool to undo that. We've sometimes had people put them not tight enough, and then the water leaks out. So there's an assumption that the tank is full, and it's not. Full to the extent that it should be, right? So the big pasture or an individual thing. So we've got JT alone. He's got 100 gallons right now, right to the tippy top, and that's going to need to be dumped. So I just want to do this video, even though it seems like, hey, I'll do this great thing and I'll just fill all these waters up. It becomes stagnant, it becomes full of algae, increases breeding, and when it's dirty water, the horses aren't so inclined to drink. And as we get especially into this hot season, we always want to have cool, fresh water to the best of our ability. So that means a lot of dumping and a lot of wasted water. So I just thought I'd go over that and hope this makes sense. And so for now, I think we'll just keep it on the people who are also feeding. If you want to do the waters, please check in with me so we can go over this. You might be watching this video and saying, oh, that's really great. I've got all the information. I should go ahead and do that. But for every person who actually watches this all the way through, there's probably 10 people who don't. And then there's a new volunteer that'll come in next month that also won't be aware of this. And then they think they're supposed to fill up the tub. So it's one of those things that can be an ongoing problem. So you think, why am I watching our 5 or 6 minute video about waters, right? But if you're here enough, you start to see these problems cropping up, and it's really about the care of the horses and providing the best that we can for them. So clean water, refilled more often to lower amounts where it's nice and cool, and we have less dumping, is better than filling it to the top and then having to dump all that water or leave it for days on end where they don't want to drink it anymore. So I hope this instructional video helped. There are others on our YouTube channel, The Volunteer Tractor Trail. Bye.